What if I told you that some of the most jaw-dropping quarterback seasons in NFL history came from guys that you barely remember? 1 year, one magical, untouchable lightning-in-a-bottle season, and then nothing. Arm went cold, magic disappeared, and the football world moved on like it never even happened. These are not guys who had long, decorated careers. These are ones who climbed to the top of the mountain for exactly 12 months and then fell off the other side. So today, we're counting down the 10 NFL quarterbacks who burned bright, burned fast, and burned out after one epic season. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Number 10, Jake Delhomme, 2003. Jake Delhomme was an undrafted journeyman who had spent years bouncing around practice squads and Europe's NFL league before finally getting his shot in Carolina. And in 2003, he made the absolute most of it. Delhomme led the Panthers on a magical Super Bowl run, throwing for 3,219 yards and 19 touchdowns during the regular season, and then putting up 323 yards and 3 TDs in one of the most entertaining Super Bowls ever played against the Patriots. Carolina lost by a field goal, but Delhomme looked like a franchise cornerstone. And then, 2004 happened, and then 2005. He was fine, serviceable even, but man, he never even came close to recapturing that electric 2003 form. By 2009, he had thrown 5 interceptions and a fumble in a single playoff game against Arizona, one of the worst postseason performances in modern history. Honestly, that 2003 Jake Delhomme and the 2009 version barely looked like the same player. And so it was one magical year, and then the football gods took it all back. Number 9, Vince Young, 2009. Vince Young was supposed to be the guy in Tennessee. After a very rough start to his career, he erupted in 2009, posting a 113.5 passer rating over the second half of the season, making the Pro Bowl and nearly willing the Titans into the playoffs single-handedly. The man was electric, clutch, and genuinely looked like a franchise QB on the rise. And then the Titans replaced him with Kerry Collins the very next year. So he bounced to Philadelphia, then never started a meaningful regular season game again. I mean, look, the talent was always there. The 2009 season proved it, but something between the ears and reportedly between him and Jeff Fisher made it impossible for him to ever get back to that level. And thus, one Pro Bowl season and it was over. Number 8, Rick Mirer, 1993. So, long before Russell Wilson, before Matt Hasselbeck, there was one Rick Mirer, the Seahawks' golden boy and second overall pick in the 1993 draft. As a rookie, Mirer was sensational. He threw for 2,833 yards, posted 12 touchdowns, and set then NFL records for most completions by a rookie quarterback. Analysts were out there comparing him to Joe Montana. Yeah, seriously, the Joe Montana. And then, for whatever reason, he just never got any better. Not even a little. Yeah, his accuracy just cratered. His decision-making, it got worse. And by 1997, he was just essentially out of Seattle entirely. The man regrettably just spent years as a backup before quietly disappearing from the league entirely. So, that 1993 season was very good, but all it got him was that Montana comparison. The rest of his career, it just made people forget that he ever even played. Number 7, Matt Ryan, 2016. Alright, hear us out here because Matt Ryan had a genuinely good career, but the gap between his 2016 MVP season and everything that came before and after is, it's staggering enough to land him here on this list. You see, way back when in 2016, which is now a decade ago, which is a very frightening thought for me, Ryan was just completely untouchable. 4,944 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a 117.1 passer rating. He was the unanimous MVP. He took Atlanta to the Super Bowl with a 28-3 lead over the Patriots, a lead so massive that it should have been impossible to lose. Yeah, he lost it. And I think that game broke something in Ryan, as he was just never that guy again. He had solid years after, sure, but nothing even remotely close to 2016. That Super Bowl collapse seemed to follow him everywhere he went. One truly transcendent season, bookended by decades of pretty good ones. But that one year was something else entirely. Number 6, Chad Pennington, 2002. Chad Pennington was a surgeon. He wasn't gonna blow you away with his arm strength, but in 2002, with the New York Jets, he was the most accurate quarterback in all of football, finishing with a league-best 104.2 passer rating and leading New York to the playoffs. And then the injuries started. Shoulder surgery, more shoulder surgery. By the time he was back and ready to play, all of the zip that made him what he was gone. And the Jets had moved on to Brett Favre. Pennington was able to reinvent himself in Miami, and he actually won Comeback Player of the Year in 2008. But man, that 2002 version, that sharp, laser-precise version, sadly, that man was just gone forever. One fully healthy, fully locked in, fully productive season, and that's all football ever gave him. A real shame. Number 5, Tony Eason, 1985. Tony Eason doesn't get talked about much anymore, but let me tell you, back in 1985, he led the New England Patriots all the way to the Super Bowl. Of course, only to get famously torched by the Chicago Bears defense in Super Bowl 20, getting pulled in the first half without completing a single pass. But still, this man was incredible. I mean, getting to the Super Bowl was an achievement. Eason had thrown for 2,156 yards and 11 touchdowns in the regular season, managing the team masterfully enough to reach the biggest stage in football. After that Super Bowl humiliation, he was never quite the same. The confidence was completely shaken. The Patriots began their search for other options, and Eason's window slammed shut. And thus, he finished his career as a backup in New York before ultimately retiring early. One Super Bowl trip, one brutal ending. And sadly, the football world never let him forget it. Number 4, Neil O'Donnell, 1995. Neil O'Donnell is remembered almost exclusively for throwing 2 interceptions to Larry Brown in Super Bowl 30, handing the Dallas Cowboys the championship on a silver platter. But, before those 2 throws, he had quietly put together one of the best seasons of any Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback in years. In 1995, O'Donnell threw 17 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions. He posted an 87.7 passer rating and was efficient, smart, and decisive enough to carry Pittsburgh deep into the playoffs. And it was there that he earned a massive free agent contract from the New York Jets that offseason. But then, well, those 2 bad throws seemed to haunt him for the rest of his career. His time in New York was a complete disaster. He never even sniffed another playoff run. Those 2 lone interceptions undid an entire brilliant season and, debatably, an entire brilliant career. Number 3, Geno Smith, 2022. Geno Smith's 2022 season was one of the most feel-good stories in recent NFL history. A journeyman backup who had spent years getting benched, cut, and doubted, Smith finally took over the Seattle Seahawks and absolutely stunned the entire league. Seriously, I don't think anybody really expected him to, well, produce this much. Most people had kind of viewed Geno Smith as a bit of a bust, or really just a serviceable backup. But he threw for 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, just 11 interceptions, and won Comeback Player of the Year at the age of 32. Seattle fans were ecstatic. Pundits were talking long-term extension here. The story felt complete. Then 2023 arrived, and 2024, and sadly, Geno just couldn't maintain it. His numbers dropped, the offense sputtered, and Seattle began drafting his replacement. The magic that made 2022 so special turned out just to be a flash, not a foundation. He got his moment in the sun. Football just wouldn't let him stay out in it. And, playing for the Raiders really didn't do anything to help his career. Number 2, Derek Anderson, 2007. If you weren't watching closely in 2007, well, you might have missed one of the great quarterback flukes in NFL history. Derek Anderson, an undrafted, never supposed to be starter backup who took over the Cleveland Browns and went on a tear that sent shockwaves throughout the league. Anderson threw for 3,787 yards and 29 touchdowns, posting a 82.5 passer rating and making the Pro Bowl. The Browns went 10-6 and narrowly missed the playoffs in a tiebreaker. Cleveland fans were buzzing. National media was asking, is this guy for real? And sadly, the answer turned out to be no. Like a hard no. In 2008, he cratered to a 57.4 passer rating, threw 14 picks to just 9 touchdowns, and was benched before the season ended. By 2010, he was out of Cleveland entirely. The 2007 season remains one of football's greatest unsolved mysteries. Just how did that guy go out there and do that for a full season? Nobody knows, including Derek Anderson. Number 1, Nick Foles, 2013. I mean, come on, you knew it had to be him. Nick Foles in 2013 was not just good, he was statistically the most efficient quarterback in the history of professional football. Playing under Chip Kelly's offense in Philadelphia, Foles threw 27 touchdown passes to just 2. That's right, count them, 2 interceptions across 13 games. His passer rating was 119.2. He threw 7 touchdowns in a single game against the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, 7! For one glorious stretch of football, Nick Foles was better than Peyton Manning, better than Aaron Rodgers, better than anyone who had ever played the position by most metrics. And then, for whatever reason, it all just evaporated. He got hurt. He got traded to St. Louis. He bounced to Kansas City, back to Philadelphia, Jacksonville, Chicago. A career spent chasing the ghost of 2013. He did win a Super Bowl MVP with the Eagles in February of 2018, and yeah, credit where it's due. That was extraordinary. But even that felt like a one-week lightning strike rather than a sustainable peak. Nick Foles is the ultimate proof that football can be cruel, random, and beautiful all at once. For one season, he was the greatest quarterback alive. The rest of his career, he was just kind of a backup. And man, I don't think any player on this list captures the burn bright, burnout story better than Nick Foles. But hey, what quarterback do you think is the biggest one-hit wonder in NFL history? Do you agree with the choices on our list? Who would have you picked? Let us know in the comments section below. If you like this video and you learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.